Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself and what your normal day-to-day is like.
Okay, I'm Danita Kruger. My daughter is out of the house in Kansas City. My husband works at UNI, and I self-retired myself prior to being 65 due to health issues and my doctor telling me I needed to just take it easy and be not stressed. So I was kind of bored and didn't know really what I was going to do with my life because I was used to working 8 hours a day since I was a kid. And so it was a hard thing to go through to transition from going from two incomes to one, which, it scared me because you don't know if you're going to be able to make ends meet every month. And so I was trying to figure out other ways, whether I could work from home or do like a like a typing type position somehow to do data entry or whatever. And I didn't really want to go that route.
So you were really looking for a way to make money from home, but stay away from things like being stuck to a desk all day or stuck to your computer all day. And so that's what kind of prompted you to get started with the dollar auction method.
It's really funny because my friend Marcy Taylor, that is also here, she would talk about it all the time, how she was making money on the dollar auction and how she enjoyed buying pallets and how she did all of this. And I kept thinking about it. It was probably about 5 months. She kept saying, well, you ought to do it. You ought to do it. So finally one day I decided, okay, I'm going to join. And I started with things from home. Mm-hmm. Just started, going. I consider myself a buying, hoarder, organized person. So I buy a lot of stuff and I have a lot of stuff, but it's not everywhere and making a mess. It's all organized. Because I love organization. I can't stand it if things aren't organized and I can't find things.
Organized chaos.
Yes, exactly. My husband said I should have a business calling myself the organizational idiot. So, haiku. So anyway, Marcy finally convinced me to start, and I started about a year ago. So I haven't been with it as long as she has, but I had told Mackenzie after like the first month being in there and asking a lot of questions, and she was very helpful about, to make sure how I was doing things the right way. And I told her, I said, just getting rid of things in my house that I knew that in the rest of my lifetime I was never going to use. I had tons and tons of yarn. So I sold yarn bundles.
I remember that.
I sold like 32 yarn bundles. I sold things for my house. I sold craft supplies because I have a craft business that my husband and I have had for 9 years. But that was kind of dwindling down. And I wasn't making enough money from that. So another reason to go to the dollar auction. And so I just got rid of things for my house. And in my first month, starting in like the second week of January through the second week of February, I made over $1,000. That was extra income to help make up for what I wasn't making working a full-time job. Mm-hmm. I still don't make as much a month as I would working a full-time job, but I make enough that we don't have to worry about having food on our table by the end of the month. Mm-hmm. And that was important to me. I didn't want to have to go to the bank and borrow money. I didn't want to have to, jeopardize the way that we want to live or anything by not having money. So this is a supplement to my husband's income, and it keeps us going every month.
Did you sell anywhere else before you started using the dollar auction?
I had myself, like I said, I had a crafting business, so I went everywhere and did that for like 9 years.
Shows.
So I did craft shows, which you pay for your booth, and I had 2 booths because I had so much stuff, and the stuff that I made was bigger stuff. So I had 2 booths, so you pay that price. Plus you pay for your gas, plus you have to set up, plus you have to tear down. If it's one day, you have to set up, you only have 2 hours to set up. You have a 5-hour show, you tear down and you go. And that was difficult because I never really I would make up basically what my entry fee was, but that didn't pay for my gas, didn't pay for my time, didn't pay for any of that. So I tried opening on my own business a Facebook sell page. Mm-hmm. And I would post things. And it just never took off. It never really worked. I tried eBay a couple of times. never even got a hit on anything that I posted. So I never really had tried Marketplace. I hadn't tried any of those other things. And this just, it was easy. It was easy to learn. It was convenient. All you had to do was keep track of what people were bidding and make sure that at the end of the 48 hours that you were contacting them, telling them won. It was just simple.
Can you describe for us some of the obstacles you found in the dollar auction?
I don't think there's really any other obstacles I had before I joined. I think the biggest thing after I joined, the hardest thing for me was, okay, it's a dollar auction. It starts at $1. If nobody bids over that dollar, you have to be willing to give up something that you know is worth more than $1 for that dollar. That was my hardest thing to do when I started. And I still struggle with it because it's like, I know these people know that these items are not worth just $1. And there's people that will sit there and watch at the end of the time and they'll bid $1 just to make sure that they get it. And that's hard to do. It's hard to give away things that you know are worth $20 or more, and you put out a bag that a person bought 9 items from your auctions and they paid $9. That's hard. You have to, if you're going to do this, you have to know that's something you're going to have to face.
Is there anything specific about like the rules or the structure of the dollar auction that helped you to overcome any obstacles that you were facing?
I like the fact that there are rules, you know, and they're enforced. It's not like people are gonna, you know, for instance, I had one customer, she bid on something of mine. The auction hadn't stopped, and she went and bought the exact same thing from somebody else for more than she bid. And then she didn't want it anymore. And she just said, well, I just don't want it. But there were rules, so I contacted Mackenzie. Mackenzie took action, and that's the thing I like. There are set rules that you have to abide by. And if you don't abide by the rules, you don't pick up the item, you get nasty with somebody, you do anything like that. There are rules that are enforced by Mackenzie, and that, I think, is the biggest thing, because I don't want people to think that they can just come in here and, you know, make a bid and act like it's nothing, because for us that are selling, that's income for us. It's not a joke to us. This is serious. This is a way that I know other people on the auction have been able to pay for large things that they want, or to pay off debt so they could buy a new home, or do whatever. So it's like, this is serious for us. Anybody that's doing the dollar auction, we're not here just to have fun. We're doing it because we're serious about making money and helping supply our income.
Yeah.
How has doing things dollar auction style changed your lifestyle or your routine?
Well, it can get hectic sometimes because I'm very type A personality when it comes to things. And having my other business and now doing this as a second business, I do have a tax ID that I'm required to keep track of everything. So for me, my husband tells me it's a full-time job, because I have to make sure that I can procure items that people are going to want to buy. So you have to take that time, and then I have to keep track of every item I buy and what I paid for it. So I have to keep everything in a spreadsheet, so I have to take that time. Then you have to take the time to post the pictures and take the pictures. You have to take them and post them. And then you have to follow along. And I'm one of them that I'll tell people, you know, like Mackenzie was saying, bumping. Somebody will bid and I'll say, okay, the highest bid is this. And I'll put like a little smiley face or something on it so it'll pop it back to the top. So the people see it and then they're like, oh, well, I want to bid on that. So I constantly update. I tell people the bid is now this, the bid is now this, bid is at this. So it keeps it going. And I'm on top of that a lot. There's times when, like late at night, I'm not, obviously, but I try to keep on top of it as much as possible.
Is there anything you would want to share with anybody who might be in the same boat that you are and be looking to use the dollar auction method to better their lives in day-to-day, just like you did?
I would say if you're thinking about it, you're only out a little bit of money to start and to start posting bids. if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But I say, at least try it and give it a chance. You might be able to make some extra money that you never thought you would have and be able to do things, you know, or buy things that you need or save for things that you're trying to save for. It is time consuming and it can get annoying at times when people are bidding and you're trying to update their bids and other people are bidding. But I say just do it. It's fun. It's easy. It's, you know, you get to meet a lot of people. I've got customers that are I have customers now that know the kind of products that I sell, and they will contact me and say, hey, do you have any more of this? And I'm like, oh yeah, so I'll sell it to them. I have other people. There was one lady that bid on something and she ended up sick with COVID and she couldn't pick it up and she told me she couldn't. So I offered it to the next person down on the list, and I didn't report her because she was obviously sick. And about a week later, she called me and she said, do you still happen to have that? And I said, yeah, I have another one. And she came and picked it up. And she was so excited because it was something she wanted for her grandson. And just because she had COVID and couldn't pick it up, she didn't want to lose out. So you get to know those customers. And they're the ones that keep coming back and keep coming back. And that's what's the fun of it, because you get to meet so many people.